Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for your earnest, hard work on working towards the SDGs and addressing climate change. And also, thank you very much to the SDG Action Zone. This is an incredible event. It's really wonderful, and I really appreciate being here. So as mentioned, I'm the founder of Blockchain for Climate Foundation and the Director of Climate Innovation at Ecotrust Canada. And getting to pair these two works give us a really neat platform to move forward. So I believe that humanity will beat climate change when we work together and trust each other. Climate change is so clearly the challenge of our time. And the Paris Agreement is really nothing but a commitment to fight climate change together. All of the different articles touch on different pieces, but it's actually amazing when people say, well, Paris Agreement isn't going far enough or fast enough, I say, it's difficult to come to accord within your job or within your family or with your friends. Imagine every single country in the world coming together to agree on something as big as a structural change to fight climate change. That's the Paris Agreement. Now, there's one article that didn't get concluded, it didn't get its rule book written at COP24 in Katowice last year, and that's Article 6. Article 6 is the tool that enables a cross-border transfer of emission reduction outcomes. It's the tool that allows capital to flow to where the opportunities for emission reductions outcomes happen, and then to have those outcomes flow to where the demand sits. And it's critical for mobilizing private sector capital. That's why it's so important, because it adds the impact of climate to the business case of a project. So success requires trust, and it also requires these nuts and bolts. We need to operationalize Article 6. We need to get ready for when it does pass, that all of the tools underneath it are ready so that we can get working on having that capital flow and reducing those emissions. So why blockchain for climate? Our team, there's about 20 of us. We're around North America and Europe right now. We have a couple of our team members here, Cam Fung and Marco Schletz. Thanks so much for coming. And our team really recognized that in order to create mechanisms at scale to allow that cross-border investment in emission reductions, that the old technologies, the old ways weren't going to work. Now, under the Kyoto Protocol and the Clean Development Mechanism, they did have an international transaction log. And my apologies to anybody working on that or working in this system, but it's not going to move fast enough. If we're going to have the kind of economy and the kind of transfers that we need to stop climate change, we're going to need a new mechanism, and that's why we're building this on the blockchain. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Bitcoin here. Maybe some of you have heard of other blockchains. So if you think of Bitcoin, it's really using blockchain for money, blockchain for a store of value. So you can have a really clear, immutable, transparent, though pseudonymous, transfer of value from person to person. We need to build this for carbon credits. And so we identified that the Ethereum blockchain was really the right tool to do this, and we're building a proof of authority sidechain where we can have a node, we can have power at every single national party around the world so that it can mimic the UNFCCC and it can build that trust amongst countries. Our token architecture, it's really fascinating. Basically, the value of an offset is your ability to track that an emission reduction outcome really happened and where it goes. We saw that we could actually really make blockchain for climate work, that we could put Article 6 on the blockchain with the creation of a tool called the non-fungible token. Who here, if anybody, has heard about CryptoKitties? All right, they're adorable, breedable cats on the blockchain. They're really a fascinating tool, but what immediately occurred to us is where they code for eye color or bushy tail color, we can code for sector that the offset or the emission reduction was created. We can code for where it was done, what's the vintage, where are the verification documents, and this was our aha that we could make this happen. And then onwards from there, we have the Bitmo dashboard. We got kind of cute, I thought, long and hard, and I came up with this great idea for what we should call these tokens. We're calling them the blockchain internationally transferred mitigation outcome for now. And with this with this dashboard, the important thing is that under Article 6, different countries in the world under Article 6.2 can issue credits of all sorts of different types and qualities, and nobody can really say anything about it. So in order to adapt for that, we want to build a dashboard where all of this information is so clearly put that it both allows countries and individuals and companies to make sure that they feel safe in the quality of what they're buying, and it also hopefully will try to pull the quality of all of these projects and all of these issuances along as the demand goes to the best in class. So we recognize we need buy-in, champions, and a strong foundation for this. One of our tasks is to convene a national party working group. So it's the national parties, it's the countries, the parties to the Paris Agreement who will ultimately be the users of this tool and who have to give the go-ahead for this tool. So if you represent a national party, if you represent a country or know people who do, who are interested in Article 6, who want to see that private capital flow, and maybe who are interested in emergent technology or even blockchain, please point them our way. Fostering conditions for success is really important. It's amazing to get to talk to you, to have people learn more about this, and we really appreciate that opportunity. We work within an external partner called Ecotrust Canada, and they're a really great inspiration for this work. They're building economic alternatives for people in the places they call home. They're working on building economies that provide for life. And so it's the work there where we're supporting Indigenous communities to manage better their forests for carbon, gain more control, and create these units. And we need to have that capital and demand come to them. And so this is why this is valuable for them. Finally, we're working on building a strong foundation. I was mentioning some of our team here, and it's all amazing individuals coming to volunteer their time, their knowledge, their inspiration to get this really, really cool piece of work done. So if you're interested in our work, interested in supporting our work, please reach out to us. Thank you so much for coming and listening to our lightning talk. Thank you very much to the SDG Action Zone. I hope you all have an excellent week here at the Climate Action Summit. Thank you.